Hello! Today is another book review day, and this week I have been reading Little Face by Sophie Hannah. This one was recommended to me by my manager, actually. I've seen her read a lot of Sophie Hannah books, and I was going to read Gone Girl, but there were a lot of requests for that at the library since the film has come out, so I thought, well, I'm not desperate to read it, so I didn't bother. But my manager said this one was kind of along the same lines. I've not read Gone Girl, I don't know what it's about really, so if it's anything like this, then I've got a bit of an idea. But anyway, so that's why I chose this one, because it was a recommendation. And as usual, I'll read you the blurb and then get on with a little bit of my thoughts. She's only been gone 2 hours. Her husband David was supposed to be looking after their 2-week-old daughter, but when Alice Fancourt walks into the nursery, her terrifying ordeal begins. For Alice insists the baby in the cot is a stranger she's never seen before. With an increasingly hostile and menacing David swearing she must either be mad or lying, how can Alice make the police believe her before it's too late? I thought that would be quite interesting. That's I'm not a mother, I don't have children. I have Lily, my dog, as you know, but I've never given birth. And I thought it'd be quite interesting to get inside the head of a new mother and find out, you know, kind of that connection that mothers have with their children, the bond they have, and the thought of coming home to find that your baby wasn't your baby. And as a new mother, you would surely, with that connection, recognise your own child. And I know it's not the same, but I always think dogs look very, very similar. Some dogs look the same, but you've got that sense of your own dog and you know who it is, and obviously that's going to be a lot stronger with a child that you've actually given birth to. So I'll just give you a little bit of a background of the characters and things like that. So you've got Alice and David, who are the parents of this little baby, Florence, and Alice has just given birth kind of a few weeks ago. And they both live with David's mother, Vivian, in a giant house, huge grounds. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. David was married to Laura, but Laura died. She was murdered. And they had a son together called Felix. So David and Alice and Florence, their daughter, live with Felix and Vivian. There are quite a few characters in this book. It's quite difficult to keep track of who's who. And Vivian is a woman who likes to be in control. She is divorced from David's father, and she likes to come across as loving and caring, but there's a little bit of an ulterior motive. I think she's a bit lonely. She needs people around her, and so she plays a big role in her grandchildren's lives. She picks out their school, she picks out simple things like their clothes, tells the parents how they're supposed to behave towards their children and things like that. She does get quite involved in things. And Alice has just given birth to Florence, and Vivian says to her, go and treat yourself. I belong to a really expensive, posh kind of gym, health club kind of place. Go there, just unwind and enjoy yourself, and just get yourself back to normal after having the baby. So Alice drives down to this health club, but in the back of her mind, she doesn't like the thought of having left her child. It's not very old, although she's left it with David, the father. The mother's instinct is there, and she doesn't like having left her child without her. She feels that she has to be close to her all the time. So she goes to this health club, and she talks to some of the people there, and she doesn't really do anything while she's there. She just wants to get home. And when she gets home, the front door is ajar, and she goes in, and like I say, it's a huge house, and Vivian and Felix have gone on a trip to America so that that David and Alice can kind of be new parents, and they're out of the way for a little while. And like I say, she goes into the house, the front door's a little bit open, and she warning bells start to ring, and she goes upstairs, and David's asleep, and she's all in a panic, and she's like, where's the baby? And she goes into the nursery, and she leans over the cot, and the baby that's in the cot isn't her Florence, and she doesn't know what to do, and she panics, and there's no sign of anyone else around apart from the door being front door being open. There's no sense of disturbance, nothing. The baby is wearing Florence's clothes. And even David says it looks like Florence. It's got the blue eyes, it's got freckles. It's how the baby looked when it came home from the hospital. And Alice is saying, but it's not. I'm her mother and I know it's not the baby. And she panics. She doesn't know what to do and she wants to call the police. And David's like, oh my goodness, it's our baby. And if you've ever seen newborn babies, yes, they do look the same. I mean, they're just kind of a little potato, aren't they? They don't really do anything. They've just, they haven't got much hair. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? I don't know. Unless you've got it wearing something pink or blue, you don't know what it is. But I would assume if you've given birth or you are the father, you'd recognise your own baby, even though, like I say, they generally look the same. And David's sure that it's still Florence, their baby, and Alice is convinced that it isn't. And at that point you just don't know who to believe. Like I say, I'm not a mother, so I don't fully understand that, but I'm sure for people who have actually given birth, your own child, you recognise something in them as being yours. So David thinks she's gone mad. Alice truly believes that that's not her baby. She calls the police. The police aren't really sure how to deal with it because she says that her baby's been stolen and yet there's still a baby in place of it, and she's trying hard to convince the police that this isn't her child. And she calls Vivian, and Vivian comes home from America with Felix, and she believes that Alice is suffering with postnatal depression, to which Alice, she knows this isn't her child. And as the story develops, there's obviously doubt in you as the reader, because you don't know who to believe. You want to think everything, is rational, everyone's rational, and no one's going mad. And it's like, well, has David gone mad because he can't see that that's not his child? Or has Alice gone mad because she can't see that it is her child? And Vivian kind of hovers in the middle, and she doesn't really take sides because she's got this air of control. She wants to see the facts. She wants a DNA test done on the baby to prove one way or the other, which Alice is obviously happy with. She would rather people found out that this baby is an imposter. And she's trying to find all different reasons for this baby going, who may have taken Florence, who this new baby might belong to. And it gets very dark and very sinister. The police, like I say, are at a loss. There's no proof that anyone was in the house, and strange things kind of have happened. There are no photos of the baby. She took photos, obviously when the baby was born, as if you look on anyone's Facebook pages when they've just had a baby, there's loads of pictures of them in the hospital and everything. She'd taken pictures. Vivian had also taken pictures. All of the pictures had been wiped, so there wasn't even any photographic proof of what the baby looked like when it was born, and you can make the connections there. And as the story goes on, David turns. He's not an emotional person. He doesn't seem to, he being brought up by Vivian, who's a very in control woman. It's as though David has to be a man's man, and he's not allowed to, to melt and to hurt and to cry. So his emotions come out in psychological torture for Alice. He starts to treat her very badly because he truly believes that she's lying. He can't understand why she's lying, but he believes she is. That is their baby. And Alice is so convinced. When the little baby came home, apparently David would call her Miss Tiggywinkle. And with the new baby, he was calling it Littleface. And she'd never heard him call her that before. And she couldn't understand. And she thought, well, he must know that it's not Florence, because if it was, he'd be calling her Miss Tiggywinkle, but he's calling her Littleface. And it's just a kind of a twist and turn story, which thrillers generally are, as to find out who's taken the baby, why they've taken the baby, what's going on, or if they have taken the baby, is Alice telling the truth, is David telling the truth? And in amongst all of this, kind of the backstory of Laura, David's first wife, arises. Like I say, she was murdered, she was stabbed, and it was believed that it was a robbery gone wrong. But as they delve into the history of the main characters trying to find out what's going on with the baby, they actually uncover a lot of other things that went on before Alice was involved with the family when Laura was married. Again, I won't tell you the ending because I don't like giving endings away. I don't like giving spoilers away. But I was very, very torn with this book. It ended up being a book that I wasn't enjoying, but I had to read it to find out what happened at the end. And I don't like that. I've obviously I want to enjoy every book that I read, but I was torn and I was struggling with it, where I didn't like any of the characters, although I did feel a bit sad for Alice at points when David was treating her badly. I found her quite irritating. I found David irritating. The police were irritating. And I just wanted to read it to find out what happened. What happened to this poor little baby? Is Alice mad? Is David telling the truth? All of those kind of questions that you're thinking as you're going through. But yeah, I'd say probably about halfway through I was torn with, I'm not enjoying the book. I don't like any of the characters, but I want to find out what happens at the end. So although Sophie Hannah has written quite a few books, I'm not sure I will pick up another one because, like I say, it was frustrating, and the end just left me not even cold, just left me dry. The ending wasn't what I expected, but it wasn't a surprise. It was oh, is that what happens? Oh, kind of wish I hadn't, not wasted my time, but I kind of wish I hadn't bothered with it. The ending just didn't satisfy at all. So I'm sorry, I'm going to have to tell my boss that I didn't like the book that she recommended, so hopefully I keep my job. And I'll move on to something a little bit different next time, I think. So if you are interested in hearing any of my other book reviews, please subscribe to my channel. And if you've read this book and you disagree with me, leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you thought of the book, or if you've read some of her others and they are good, maybe let me know, and then maybe I will read further into her catalogue. But like I say, for now I don't think I will go any further. So I do book reviews, and I also tell you about my writing, and I give you writing advice if you are interested in that sort of thing. So if that is your bag, subscribe to my channel, and if you've liked this video and you've liked my review, give me a little thumbs up, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.